Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to review the Data Engineer with Python track from DataCamp. So in this video I'm going to tell you if this track is suitable for you or not in order for you to become data engineer. Before that I'm gonna have to cover what is a data engineer, what type of skills that you need, and then I'm going to review the track from DataCamp. Let's start this video. Alright, so instead of I make a PowerPoint presentation and explain to you what is data engineer, I said let's just read an article. In this article from springboard.com, here we can see that data engineer represents a confluence between software engineering and data science. Now let me tell you in brief. Data engineer is a person who's in charge of getting the data and giving it to the data analyst. So basically, data engineer is the person who's going to use his coding skills, his database skills, in order to get or scrap or extract the data from different type of sources, whether it was an ERP system, social media, website, CSV, XML, whatever the type of data he's getting or she's getting. So he's the one who's in charge. First thing is data engineer, and then we have data analyst. After the data engineer takes the data, he gave it to the data analyst. The data analyst start analyzing the data, finding some missing values, doing some charts and statistical and descriptive statistics, inferential statistics, all this good stuff that data analysts do. And then data analyst basically tells the data engineer that maybe there is a data missing, or there is a feature missing, or whatever. And then data engineer go and gets it again. And then when everything is ready, data analysts give it to the data scientists, and data scientists start building model and all that cool stuff that data scientists do. So in data engineer, most of them are coming from software engineering background, which means they know coding and they have very good, strong coding skills. They are heavily on programming. And most of the time I've seen that they are also from database admin, database developer, Oracle developer, these type of people. Not everyone can become a data scientist. I mean, you can if you study machine learning and statistics and math. But let's say you're a software engineer and you've been programmer, let's say, for 10 or 12 years, and you wanna get into the data world. I call it data world or data realm. In data world, you have data engineer, data analyst, data scientist, business analyst, and in this basically people who play with data and get the information. I call them with different type of job description or names. Okay, but let's say you are a web developer or a mobile app developer, or just a developer, a programmer basically, and you want to get into the data field. And after checking the skills, you can see that data engineering will suit you best. I mean, you can also start learning statistics and some other cool skills, so you can become data analyst, or you can also learn machine learning and math, heavy on math, and become data scientist or machine learning engineer. But most of the software engineer, if you check the skills of software engineers and data engineers, there is a big overlap. Now let's see what type of skills that the data engineer should have. Basically, they'll be dealing with data. That means they'll be the one who's getting the data. So they should know how to deal with data and databases. So we have SQL databases and NoSQL database, not only SQL database. NoSQL, we have Elasticsearch, we have MongoDB, and here we have Apache Hadoop and Apache Spark, which is a framework that is basically used in big data. We have C++ also, basically Python. If you go to maybe in DataCamp, you're gonna see it. In DataCamp, they will teach you Python, and you can only use Python, but knowing Java and C++ will help you a lot. And then, since most of the databases are stored on the cloud, So you have to know about Amazon Web Services and Redshift and stuff like this. So you have to know how to deal with databases on cloud, databases on ERP systems, data warehouses, data marts, anything that is related to data, you have to know. Microsoft Azure, which is cloud based on Azure, just like Amazon Web Services from Amazon, HDFS from Amazon S3. These are the things that you should know. Okay, and as I said, you're gonna deal with a lot of database systems, SQL and NoSQL. You're gonna deal with ERP softwares or systems like SAP, Microsoft Dynamics, Oracle. You're gonna do a lot of ETL, extract, transform, load, basically, because you're gonna be the one who's getting the data from these warehouses. Since you'll be working with machine learning engineer and data scientist, you need to know a little bit about machine learning. I mean, you're basically working with it in the data world. So knowing a little bit about machine learning and statistics will come in aid. Obviously, you're gonna have to learn about APIs, because let's say you are a data engineer and you want to extract some data from Twitter. So you need to, let's say, deal with API, so you can extract data from Twitter. Okay. What else do you have? Python, Java, Scala. Yeah, you're gonna have to learn Scala. As I said, Python and Java, you're gonna have to learn it. In DataCamp, they're teaching only Python. Understanding base of distributed system, Hadoop. As I said, anything related to databases and data warehouse and data marts on the cloud or on ERP systems. ERP systems, you're gonna have to learn it. And knowledge of algorithms and data structures, obviously, because data structure basically means how the data are stored in your PC. So you need to understand these things. Also, some soft skills you need to know, like collaboration, presentation skills, all that's cool stuff. I think it's here. Let me check it if it's here. Let me just show it to you. Yeah, here. These are the soft skills: teamwork, organization. Basically, you need to know how to organize your stuff, because look, you'll be working in a chain with people. Like you'll be working with data analysts. Okay, so you need to organize stuff. So he's gonna come or she's gonna come and work after you. Teamwork. You're working in a team. Always punctual. Critical thinking. All this stuff. Okay. Now let's go back and see. So basically, these are the things. Now I'm going to be honest with you. You're going to see that not all the things that I just mentioned are covered in data engineer. Maybe I think DataQuest will be much better for you, but they keep updating their track, DataCamp, for data engineer. So basically, they might add or update some courses. And you can also take this alone. But remember, when you enroll in a track in DataCamp, they assume that you have no idea about data engineer and what is a data engineer. So they have a good course in data engineer, which is introduction to data engineer, which they explain everything, and then they step by step build some skills for you. Obviously, you're not going to learn everything. I mean, they don't teach C++, they don't teach Java. I don't think there is Hadoop. I don't think there is an Amazon Web Service. You're going to see it now, Microsoft Azure, but they do teach a little bit. So if you are already enrolled in DataCamp, or you're thinking to enroll, if you don't have any other better track or course, so I would say data engineer from DataCamp is a good fit as a beginner. But in advanced, I would not recommend. I'm going to be honest with you. So now I'm going to go to the website and explain the courses that are available in the track. Let's go. Okay, so right now we are at DataCamp website. You can go to the career tracks and scroll all the way down till you find something called Data Engineer with Python. You click on it, you'll see that there is a career track called Data Engineer with Python. It has 95 hours and 25 courses. Now let's just revise a little bit what we discussed earlier on the slide section of this video, that data engineer's job is basically to get the data, which means he's going to get the data using some methods and tools, or sometimes programming languages if he was or she was getting the data from websites. Let's say if if he's getting the data from Twitter, then he should know how to use some Twitter APIs using Python or R. So he should know some programming languages. Since he's dealing with data, he should know how to manage and interact with databases. So basically, he should know how to deal with relational databases and no SQL databases, not only SQL databases like MongoDB and stuff. And he should know how SQL, obviously, and he should know how to use Unix commands. Sometimes they get the data from there. Some cloud computing maybe is going to be helpful, like AWS Boto, something like this. Since he's getting the data, he should know something about big data like Spark, PySpark and stuff. And obviously Python, since this one is Python. So since this is the data engineer with Python track, then I should get some data engineer specified courses and some Python courses. Since this is a beginner track, so there should be introduction to Python course and intermediate to Python course. Here I cannot see any introduction to Python course. So what we're going to do, that is the first thing you should do if you are a complete beginner. You click here and you go to the course called Introduction to Python, and then after you finish that course, you go to the intermediate Python. Let's just go and check the introduction to Python. Python basics, you know, what is a variable, how to assign a variable, what is a list, what is a function, packages, and what is a NumPy. NumPy is a package in Python which we use it to do some math calculations. After you finish this course, it's a free course. Go to the intermediate course. The first course in that intermediate, which is which explains Matplotlib, which is a data visualization package, it's free. The rest you have to pay for it. Use the link in the description below to get the discount. There's a big chance you're gonna get a discount. So here we have pandas, and then control, which is if and if statement and stuff like this, and then we have loop, for loop and stuff. So these are the basics of Python. After you take these two courses, you go back to the data engineer with Python track. You take the data engineer for everyone. It's not a practical course, it's a theoretical course, and it's a really nice course. It's gonna explain to you the fundamentals. What is a data engineer, what type of skills that you need, how it works, and all this stuff. And then you have something called Python programming skill assessment, which means after you take the introduction to Python course and intermediate to Python course, you come here and you do some skill assessment to check your skills in programming. And I would highly recommend that you do not skip this skill assessment. You take it, and when you are intermediate or advanced, then move on, because the rest of the course is going to be advanced courses, and you do need to have some good background and good knowledge in Python. Here we have introduction to data engineering, which is exactly the same thing, but here it's more in depth. And then we have streamlined data ingestion in Python, which is how to deal with data which are from JSON and SQL and CSV files, how to write an efficient Python code, a clean code, and how to write your own functions in Python, how to interact with the shell and data processing in shell. It's going to help you a lot, especially if you're dealing with supercomputers. How to write a bash scripting, unit testing for data science in Python. This is a complete it's in programming. This course is it's used usually for software engineering. Object-oriented programming, obviously gonna have to know it. Introduction to the Airflow, help you to schedule data engineering workflows and building pipelines. Introduction to PySpark, if this is in the big data. And then we have how to build a pipeline for data engineering in Python, which is the main job of a data engineer, which is building pipelines in Python, so the data analyst or data scientist can get the data. Then we have the end introduction to AWS Boto, which is a cloud computing technology for data workflow. Obviously, you're gonna have to learn SQL, since you are dealing with databases, database design, database in SQL, introduction to SQL. Scala, it's a language which is heavily used in data engineering. And then we have big data fundamentals using PySpark, which is Python. And then we have cleaning the data in PySpark. I remember when I was using supercomputer, I had to learn PySpark and ML Spark. And then we have using SQL and Spark, cleaning SQL Server databases if you are getting data from SQL Server, and transitioning and error handling in SQL Server. So these are all SQL courses in depth, and then we have at the end NoSQL, which is MongoDB and Python. So I can say that this course start with fundamentals, and again the introduction and intermediate Python courses aren't there. You have to take them separately, and then you come to this track and take it with the same sequence that it is, and you have to take the skill assessment. And take your time and make sure to buy or subscribe to DataCamp using the link in the description below. Take your time, don't rush it up, and after that you can just go to the projects and go to filter, and let's say you want Python and data manipulation, and you have this project which is guided and unguided. Click on it and you can see the course here, and in guided, which means it's going to be all instructions. Let me show you. Okay, there's going to be instructions on the left side, and you're going to have a long Jupyter notebook on the right side. You just read here and you do whatever they're telling you to do. After you finish everything, you click on check project, and at the end you will be able to download the Jupyter notebook and put it on your GitHub, which is I highly recommend that you do that, so the recruiters and other people know that you are actually learning, not just you're just watching a couple of courses on DataCamp and that's it. And the unguided one, it's the same thing, but instead of instructions there is a video. The instructions, the instructor is actually solving the project with you step by step using videos. Here you can see the video. It's here. You can also download the video.
See everything, but as we can see, we have the columns as we.
It's amazing, guys, amazing. I mean, he's explaining the video. There is an instruction. There is a Jupyter notebook. What more do you want? See everything. The features are explained in details. So, thank you so much for watching the video. Please like and subscribe, and share it with your friend if you find it useful. Make sure to use the links in the description below. There will be other courses related to data engineering and data science in the description from Udemy. Also use those links because I brought some coupons for you. Thank you so much. See you in the next video. Bye bye.